What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Jackson. Maybe I'll actually be consistent with my upload schedule this week. Power's here, and today is the much anticipated video. For the third year in a row, it's time for the annual what I think the Indianapolis Colts will do in the offseason video. Now, the last 2 years I've done it, you guys have seemed to enjoy it. They get a good amount of views, so we're going to go ahead and keep it going. Well, good amount for me anyway, but we're going to do it this year. This is the third year we've done it, like I said in the beginning, and I'm going to make this an annual thing. And, yeah, let's keep it going. So, the first thing we need to talk about is the elephant in the room, the NFL draft. This is probably the first year I've been excited for the draft since 2018 because that was the last time we had a top 10 pick. That's really the only time I see myself caring about the draft is when we have a top 10 pick because, but I don't have to sit there and wait for my team to pick all night. That's besides the point. But, yeah, this year in the NFL draft, the Colts have the number 4 overall pick, and it's pretty obvious what we're going to do. We're probably going to go ahead and draft our franchise QB, and I'm pretty pumped to see who it is. And as you guys know, I'm in love with CJ Stroud. He's my favorite quarterback in the class. But Bryce Young, man, he's also very good. I would love to have either one of those guys. So if I'm Chris Ballard, what I'm doing, I'm going to trade up to number 1 with the Bears. I'll give them whatever they want. If we have to give up Jonathan Taylor, we'll give up Jonathan Taylor. Like I've been saying in the past, Jonathan Taylor, he's starting to show signs of having injuries, and I love Jonathan Taylor. I have his jersey, for Christ's sake, but I don't know. It seems like he could be going down the path of being injury-prone. If there's a time to move Jonathan Taylor, it's now, and plus, we're going to have to pay him soon, so if we have to throw him in the package to move up to number 1, I would, because at the end of the day, he is a special player, but he's a running back, and running backs can be easily replaced. And quarterback is way more important than running back. So what I'm doing, I would move up to number 1 with the Chicago Bears. I'd flip picks with them, add Jonathan Taylor and maybe another player to that, move up to number 1, and we get the quarterback of our choosing. We choose which one we want. We don't have to just hope we get lucky. We get exactly who we want, and we take either CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. I would be happy with either one because I think both of them could be great in the NFL. But I don't know. I think if you move up to 1, you take Bryce Young. Bryce Young has that it factor about him. He can get things done. I know his height's a question. He's 5'11" or something like that, but he's a proven winner. And people say all the time that Alabama quarterbacks always suck in the NFL, but not many Alabama quarterbacks have had the it factor that Bryce Young has had. Look, A.J. McCarron didn't have it. Who else? Mac Jones didn't have it. Tua kind of had it, but I don't know. Tua's doing decent in the NFL. Jalen Hurts, you can't really count him towards Bama. He had his success at Oklahoma. But Bryce Young's just different, man, because like a lot of people say that he had a stacked team at Bama. He really didn't, honestly. And when his team played bad, he found ways to win. He would scramble out of the pocket. He would just get outside and put his teams in position to win. He did it against Texas. He did it several times. He just gave his teams opportunities to win, and he was very good. He did it in the Iron Bowl his freshman year, and he won the Heisman for a reason. He is going to be a good NFL quarterback. I can almost guarantee it. But you could say the same thing about CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud put his team on his back in the college football playoff against Georgia, and he gave his team an opportunity to win, and he played very well against Georgia's defense. And in college football, Georgia's defense is probably the closest thing you're going to get to an NFL defense, and he played great against that, put up 41 on it, and he put him in position to win at the end, but their kicker screwed it up for him. So I think C.J. Stroud could be the move, but Bryce Young, I don't know, man. He might be different. So I want either one of them. I would take either one. And if we were to draft Young or Stroud, I'd be happy with it. But if we're going to move up to number 1, it has to be one of those two. It cannot be Anthony Richardson or Will Levis. It has to be Young or Stroud if we're going to move up to number 1, because there's no point to moving up to number 1 to draft Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. They'll be there at 4 if we desperately want them that bad. So, yeah, I would move up to number 1 and get either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. So now that we got that out of the way, I think the next thing that needs to be addressed is O-line. And once again, the draft would be a great way to go about that. Maybe go in free agency. We know Taylor Lewan is probably off the table. He said he wouldn't play for any AFC South teams because Tennessee treated him well. But you never know. He could just be saying that. Everyone's got a price, so if the Colts could get him, that'd be great. But like I said, probably not going to happen. But I don't know. We need to address the offensive line. I think maybe give Reinman the full season at left tackle and just see what we got there. Because Bernhard Raimann, we drafted him to be the future left tackle last season, and he really, really just didn't produce. Like, mostly because he barely got to play. I mean, the first half of the season Frank Reich was there. Frank Reich was constantly changing the offensive line, so they never really got a chance to cook and build chemistry, and Reinman was just never really given a fair chance, in my opinion. I feel like if Reinman had started week 1 through week 18, we would have seen a big difference between his production, but I think that in year 2, he's going to take a massive step. I think he's going to be a very good left tackle for us. And everything else, I think, is going to be okay because we still got Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly. And I think right guard's a concern. We should probably get on that. But everything else, I think, will be fine. We still have the opportunity to be a good offensive line. It's just we need to pick an offensive line at the beginning of the season and stick with it because I watched every Colts game last year. The people that say that our O-line was god-awful just because it was god-awful don't know what they're talking about. It's because we were the constant changes. They never had a chance to build any chemistry, and by the time they did with Jeff Saturday, it was too late. Like, you can't really build enough chemistry to win football games in 8 games. Like, that's just not how that works. So if it was up to me, I think Reinman needs to play left tackle. We can probably address right guard in the draft or free agency and then go from there. And I really don't know what else we could really address, except wide receiver, I think, would be a position of need to address in the offseason. I think a very good option to get an elite wide receiver is the draft, like I said. I know Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. I'm very convinced he can be a great player for us. And yeah, I'm interested to see what happened. I think we got a really good player in Alec Pierce, which is why I wear his jersey so much. He's one of my favorite players on the team. I think Michael Pittman Jr. He's got the talent to be a good receiver. It's just he hasn't had consistent quarterback play, and that's why he hasn't developed the way he should. Because he showed flashes he could be a number 1, but I just don't know if he's there yet. Like, if he had the same quarterback for his entire career up to this point, I think we would have a very different Michael Pittman Jr. right now because, once again, I watched every Colts game for the last 4 years and longer. I know that he could be very good. 3 years, excuse me. This will be his 4th year this year. But yeah, I expect Alec Pierce to take a big leap in year 2, especially with a new young quarterback who can air the ball out because Alec Pierce's specialty is deep balls, and that's going to open up the crossers for Michael Pittman, which is what he's good at. And it's going to be very good to see because we will most likely get a strong arm quarterback. I mean, the top 4 are strong arm guys, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, we just need a quarterback that can air it out because that's Alec Pierce's specialty. And like I said, I think it wouldn't hurt to draft a receiver like Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. Had a very good season, had an incredible game against Alabama, and just other things like that. Other than that, I really don't think there's much else to address. Our defense was good last year. Despite the fact that we went 4-12-1, it wasn't because of our defense. It was because we had a bottom 5 offense. If our offense could have scored 10 more points every single game, we would have been one of the best teams in the NFL. And that's just the truth about it. But, I guess we'll never know because we didn't. And there's really no excuse to that. You don't lose 12 games and just because of one thing. But there was games the defense didn't play great, like that game against Minnesota when we blew the 33-point lead. The defense kind of collapsed, but I think we got Gilmore for another year. I don't know if we're going to release him or not. I know Ngakoue gone in the offseason, so maybe we might have to fill that position and need in the draft, but we'll see. I'm not too sure about this free agent class. I don't think it has a whole lot of big names other than Odell Beckham Jr., which I don't think we'll sign him because Ballard probably doesn't want that, and OBJ definitely doesn't want to come here because we are just not in win now mode. OBJ is going to go to a win now team like the Cowboys or something like that. Well, win now team like the Cowboys. But that's neither here nor there. I really don't know what else to say. Our defense was pretty good. I think we're going to keep Gus Bradley, but I'm not too sure yet. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments if you're actually still watching up to this point. But, yeah, we also need to fill the special teams coordinator role because Bubba Ventrone went to Cleveland. But I'm very excited for the Colts next season. Now, I'm not going to sit here and be like, the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, we are, but I'm not going to say that. But in all seriousness, I think it's going to be a much better team next season. I'm not saying playoffs or anything like that. By better, I mean a team that you can watch and not want to turn the game off. I think that's the type of team we're going to get next year because we're going to have a rookie quarterback more than likely starting week 1, and it's going to be a slow-paced development, but I believe in Shane Steichen's ability to build an offense. Whoever we get, I trust him, and I'm very excited for this upcoming season. I mean, I'm excited now, but I'll probably end up being disappointed. But I think if we do what I said, we could be a pretty competitive team and a team to watch out for in the AFC next year, and we could win the South, I think. Like, a little bit of a reach, but I think the Colts could be a sleeper to win the South next season. And I'm just going to leave it there. If you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments so we can fight. I want to fight Jake Paul. He just lost to Tommy Fury yesterday, so I got next. In all seriousness, though, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And turn the bell notifications and follow everything in the description box. See you guys next time. Bye.